Visiting the conversation between Simone Biles and Riley Gaines, we're looking at boys playing in girls' sports, and of course, some conversations that's had over the past decade that you may have forgotten that women have talked about playing against men. Simone Biles, if you're not familiar with her, she is an Olympic gymnast, probably one of the best decorated gymnasts in the entire world, or ever for that matter. Thankfully, she comes from the United States and pretty much all around good athlete. She had an exchange recently with Riley Gaines, which you're not familiar with her. She is a college swimmer, and I'll read the exchange so you can catch up because I'm going to not repeat myself. But the exchange began on Friday when Biles, the most decorated gymnast in history, responded to a post on X from former Kentucky swimmer turned anti-trans activist Riley Gaines. Gaines originally had quoted a post from the Minnesota State High School League, which celebrated the Champlain Park High School softball team for winning the Class 4A softball state championship. The team's pitcher, who is a transgender girl, which means she's a boy, and also a high school junior, has received attention from Gaines and other opponents of transgender athletes. So this got kind of ugly overall, where Simone Biles came out and said that you need to celebrate, all sports, all women, equity, and all the other things. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I'm not really. And it kind of came out where, why are you getting involved with this? Like, what's your motive behind is this the platform that you want to go on? And Riley Gaines has stuck her spear in the ground and said, yes, she is anti-trans because of her history with the guy named Leah Thomas beating her. And you look back at it like, Simone Biles, what are you kind of doing with this? So understand that in 2022, Simone Biles was the number 10 on the Forbes list for the highest paid female athlete. She has all kinds of sponsorships. And now a lot of those sponsorships are coming out saying they're getting pressure to drop her. So, here's kind of this good life. She pops up every 4 years for the Olympics. And why? Why are you talking about this? Is this going to be her platform moving forward? I'm curious how that all plays out. And on a kind of a side funny note, I wanted to talk about the Olympics because it's like, all right, gymnasts. I personally, be honest with you, 100% honest, I was a gymnast for like 3 years when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. I attribute to most of my motor skills that I've lost as I've gotten older. So that's a little fun fact about me. But, I'm like, I don't really care about the Olympics a whole lot. I don't care about the gymnasts a whole lot other than every 4 years. And I kind of got going on some other stuff as far as what other sports are weird that are in the Olympics, like race walking, rhythmic gymnastics. You got the air pistol, you got table tennis, which is actually pretty exciting, and then sailing. But it's like you watch these sports every 4 years. You have no idea. You never watched it all before. I've never done most of those things. But you watch him with such enthusiasm. You're like, oh, I could totally do that. And you try, but you can't. But then you become experts overnight about it. And you start talking with your friends like, oh, did you see that? If he would have just done a little bit more in that and could have had it in the right angle and that. And you start talking, okay, fine. That would be a good one. But so I'm like, all right, why is a gymnast doing this? Why are you coming out now and setting this up? So if you're not familiar with the softball game that I'm talking about the Minnesota 4A, girls softball, in Minnesota. And it is from the number 2 Champlain Park Rebels won the championship. Congratulations to the Champlain Park Rebels. They had a junior pitcher named Marissa Rothenberger. Competed a game shutout. Pitched all 21 innings over 3 games, only had a couple hits. Wow, amazingly feat. I wonder how many other girls in the past have done such a good job to strike out everyone and do complete games. Well, it just turns out that, Marissa's a boy. And if you look at the pictures of her, which I'm not going to show because of age restrictions and all that, we're talking high school kids. But he's a foot taller than everybody else on the team. It's not even close. Come on. It's not even close. And just to have it in there, like, okay. And I'm wondering, like, why were they number 2? Why were they ranked number 2? And what? Maybe because he didn't pitch every single game the entire time. They actually allowed other pitchers to come in and pitch, but not for the finals. No, not for the final game, not for the series, because who would want to actually lose when you have a boy pitching for you? So that was the kind of the conversation overall between that coming out, and it's if you watch the videos and the pictures of this thing, it's just horrible. But the other issue too, it's coming out, if you remember back, Simone Biles came out because she was sexually abused by the gymnast, the doctor, the team doctor for USA, abused a lot of girls. A very, very unfortunate situation, but it came down to men being in a women's locker room. And that was one of the points that Riley Gaines is making now. It's like, I'm not sure where you're at with this, because Riley Gaines is talking about having a man in the women's locker room, fully functioning man, just out there hanging. And, you go to Simone Biles, who's had abuse, legitimate, horrible abuse happen to her, and she's okay with having other men in the locker room. So it's kind of that weird scenario. And it's hard for me to actually talk about just because of that situation, but it's because it's not cool at all. So interesting how that kind of played out. But the other issue too was, I'll find it here in a minute, but it was going back to body shaming of Riley Gaines. So that was kind of the things. Simone wrote on there, you should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports more inclusive, or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sport. Maybe a transgender category in all sports, Biles wrote. Pause. Okay, so transgender category in all sports. What are you saying? Were you saying that boys are not girls? Is that why they need their own category? Because they're not. Okay, good one. All right, and I'll carry on. Quote, instead, you bully them. One thing's for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around. Okay, so interesting. Then Biles also followed up. Bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male. End quote. Good. Let's body shame Riley Gaines. Sure, no problem. Yep, no problem. Good for women. We'll just stick up for women and body shame them. That's awesome. Okay, good job. So Simone Biles, that's her legacy. That's what she's going to be known for. I mean, other than, again, bowing out of the Olympics a couple of years ago, she's going to be the person that puts this on her stand. So I don't know. I'm going back to the softball game, and it's like, all right, you got one transgender boy who plays against the girls. I'm like, what's the limit on that could happen? I mean, I'm kind of like, all right, hey, any team from Minnesota, any boys baseball team, start growing your hair out now, start changing your clothes. You come out next year for the season and you play on, boys playing on the women's softball, and just go out there. What would happen? Comment what you think would actually happen if a whole team of boys, nine people on the field, obviously, and however many people on a high school softball team, playing against full-edged women. Okay, see how that goes and see what happens and see how quickly this changes. Because where is that limit where you're like, all right, you got one, okay, not bad. There's two transgenders, maybe they're on opposite teams. But what, 3, is that the limit? Is 4 the limit? Is 5 the limit of having transgender boys on girls' team? Are they going to be like, okay, whoa, that's too many. 1's okay, but 5, that's just too much. We can't have that. We're gonna shut it out, and we're gonna create our own transgender league. What is that limit? Put in the comments what you think that limit is right there. Okay. Going back then too, if you remember back in 2017, if you remember this, Truth Between Lines, remember when the Dallas under 15 boys squad beat the U.S. women's national team. Now I know it was a scrimmage and everything else, but I'll tell you right now, it's sports. It's sports. There's no such thing as an actual scrimmage, okay? And those 15 and under boys were playing their heart out because this is the one chance they get to go. They're playing, just on national stage. Everybody's watching them, so of course they're going to play amazingly. And what are you going to say? That the women just they got around just to kind of move around to get used to each other? That's what you're going to say? That they weren't really playing hard and they just allowed a 15 and under 15 years old just to beat the crap out of them 5-2 in a match? I'm not a big soccer fan, but 5-2, that's a pretty much butt whipping right there. But so look at that. And then I look back to in Serena Williams, 2013. Serena Williams was talking about Andy Murray, about them playing. There was some speculation of this thing about charity that they were going to play because they're the two biggest stars in tennis. Why not? Let's play together. And Serena Williams came out there and she basically said, and I'll read the exact quote, what it was, but I would lose 6-0 in 5 minutes because she knew that she would lose. And she says, I love to play women's tennis. I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed, and I would not do the tour. I would not do Billie Jean King any disservice. So Andy, stop it. I'm not going to let you kill me, Williams added. Well, isn't that funny? So Serena Williams, probably I would think the best female tennis player. I mean, again, not a huge tennis fan. I watch it, but whatever. But if she's talking about getting killed by a male, oh, okay. Well, what happens when a transgender boy comes in and plays women's tennis? So think about that. It's a little interesting about the whole thing behind that. So you look at it, you just take a big step back, and you're like, all right, where are we at with this? What is the limit? What's next? Is this the hill people want to die on? Is this where they're going right now? They want to say this is it. The transgender thing is the most important thing out there. And how fair is it to actual girls who work so hard for a boy to come in and decide, oh, look, last year or 6 months ago, I decided, oh, yeah, I'm going to play against you because I'm mediocre and getting my butt kicked by the other boys, so I'm going to play against the girls so I can feel better about myself. Yeah, it's an interesting time to be alive. Definitely, for sure. Anyway, don't forget those stories, those headlines, because they're out there. You can look them up yourself. But please like, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. And I appreciate the support. My name is Brian Walker, Truth Between Lines. Between